What's up, everyone? Today we're talking about vampires and how they will never hurt you. And we're joined with Sarah and our lovely friend Gerard here.
That's his present. I made him.
Yep. Sarah actually made that for my birthday. But more specifically, we're not just talking about vampires, we're talking about the My Chemical Romance album. I brought you my bullets, you brought me your love. And to go along with it, Sarah has a video of a recent painting she has done.
Yep, which you'll see out there, I'm assuming, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess on the topic of the album and the painting tying together, the painting specifically was the song Vampires Will Never Hurt You, which you probably didn't guess that because we didn't already say that, right? So yes, I was having trouble deciding on what to paint. I knew I wanted to do a painting in regards to My Chemical Romance, and that song is a favorite of mine. So Luke kind of came up with a cool concept because I feel like the shirt everyone kind of tends to see, that's probably one of their most famous shirts, is the shirt with like the castle with the moon, and he has one, it's glow in the dark, and that's pretty neat. But I wanted to do something incorporating that castle, but also the Vampires Will Never Hurt You theme. It was kind of tied in, and then I was like, it kind of reminded me of like a book or movie cover, so that's essentially how I started on this painting.
Yeah. Everybody knows, or if you don't, probably most of you know, Gerard came from working at Cartoon Network before the band started, and he's done a lot of comic book art and things like that. So I guess I kind of suggested it might be interesting to try to do something in that vein. And if it's not already on the screen, you'll see it on the screen here in a moment. But it kind of just stemmed from that idea.
Yeah, and the irony on the topic of that is everything kind of ties together because I was actually trying to research the castle that was on the shirt. And because I wanted to paint from that, because the shirt is kind of, I don't know how to describe it. It'd be hard to get detail at first. That's a whole other story, but it turns out that castle on that shirt is from Disneyland Paris, so far as I understand. I think it's the Sleeping Beauty castle, which I was a little surprised by, but kind of not really, given the background in animation or comics and stuff like that. But not only that, I think people might have heard of that rumor in regards to Mikey, his brother. My mind probably might tell me. I ate him. Who said the prayers? Okay, cut that part out. Mikey, his brother, supposedly was bootlegging Disney movies, I think in high school or something, so I've heard, so that they could raise money for concert tickets, and they actually got into some kind of like legal trouble when they were like teenagers, supposedly. I read it on the internet. I wasn't there. But it's kind of ironic that that happened, and then they had the Disney shirt, and then yeah, they continue to get money off of Disney. It's crazy. I'm just kidding.
Only Mikey knows, and maybe Gerard, and maybe the rest of the band. I don't know.
Anyhow, yeah, so that was just like an interesting little fact that incorporates, a little bit of band history, or I don't know, maybe you could call it lore. So moving on from that, I feel like My Chemical Romance is one of those bands that people really get into. Like, I can't say, actually I think I've met like one person that says they don't like My Chemical Romance. And that's fair. But I feel like almost everybody has at least a song that they like from them. Yeah, so there's a lot of lore and all that. A lot of people who get into My Chemical Romance probably know a lot more than I do. He probably even knows more than I do at this point. But I could just talk about, they've been around for a while now. But I could talk about my first introduction to them, I guess, when I was younger, and just how I've seen personally how the band, has gone through different, I guess you could say, evolutions, breaking up and everything that they've been through. My first introduction with MCR was, I would say back in like 6th grade, and I had never heard of My Chemical Romance at all. I just remember it was like definitely the time where like Britney Spears and Backstreet Boys and Aqua and all those types of groups were really popular, and I was listening to what my older sister was listening to at the time, so NSYNC and all that, and that was fine. But I also kind of, I guess, was less stimulated by that type of music as I was starting to get into my awkward teenage years. And I remember I had a friend that it was like the morning before class, and I had met up with her before class started, and she had handed me like a burnt CD, and all it said was My Chemical Romance, like written in Sharpie, and it was like really poorly written, so I had to like make it out for a minute, and I was like, My Chemical Romance, like, and I was like, what does that mean? And I had no idea like what genre they would be. Like I said, I was just completely naive. And I remember when I'd gotten on the bus, I had brought my CD player, and when I had gotten on the bus to go home that day, I put that CD in, and that album happened to be 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge. And I just thought it was so cool, because it was so different compared to what I was used to and what everyone else had been listening to around me. So it's not a super unique story, but it's just like a fond memory of mine, and obviously it still affects me to this day. I say it's in a good way. But as I don't know, I'll let you talk a little bit. I was going to talk about their music videos and everything else as I got older, but I don't know what you want to touch on. So
yeah, my obviously my exposure to them was a little different. I didn't listen to them very much growing up. I feel like I probably saw the Helena music video, and probably I at least heard of like the Black Parade, but for whatever reason I was listening to like Green Day a lot, so I just kind of overlooked them. And then Sarah, I don't remember what album it was that you showed me. It might have been something from this one actually, but it's just like something sort of clicked, and I was like, why have I just not paid attention to this band forever? And then I obsessed over them.
right.
And I listened to everything.
More than I probably even know by now. So
Listened to everything, watched all the music videos. I bought the comics that Gerard made for Danger Days, which obviously Danger Days is different from what we're talking about today, but I just fell into them, and I was just like, I'm just gonna consume everything.
Which is fair. I feel like that happens to a lot of MCR fans.
And now we're gonna see them at When We Were Young, and that's
Very exciting.
probably one of the bands I'm most excited to see for that show, because obvious reasons.
Right? Yeah, I feel like, so you were around, but I guess since I already was, paying attention. I remember when Black Parade came out, like, and everything. I remember buying that CD, and just really on the topic of their music videos, they just had some really phenomenal, music videos. As we were talking about, the Helena music video is obviously really cool, and almost everybody knows it. But also Ghosts of You. I feel like that one wasn't. I do remember it being on TV, and I guess the impact of it as you get older. How do I describe it? I guess it's like as you get older, you start to realize like heavier things about the world that as a teenager you feel those ways, but as an adult, like, and you actually go through different types of things and different types of losses. It's almost like the older I get, the more it resonates with me, and just, I don't know, would you call it cinematography of, you know, say that music video in particular is just absolutely amazing, and the lyrics themselves, not to just go into that song, because there's so many amazing lyrics in a lot of their songs, but you know, to take a topic even such as like war, for example, and I would consider that like a big topic, like it's not something, it takes like some eloquence and humility, and I don't even know if I have the right language to describe it, but to kind of discuss topics like that is kind of difficult to do in essentially like a respectful way, and I feel like MCR has always been really able to do that with a lot of their song choice, like topics and the things they write about. Yeah, I mean, maybe you could touch on that more.
Yeah, I guess I just wanted to say real quick, going back to the music videos, I don't know how many people actually know. Maybe more people know than I think, but recently I came across a video for Vampires Will Never Hurt You, where it's just like, it's all shot in black and white, and you know, Gerard has like vampire-esque makeup on, and there's just like, it's mostly like the band playing along to the song, but there's like cuts of like, I'm not sure if it's like a vampire couple or if it's just like a vampire going after somebody else. It's kind of just like, it's quickly cut, so it's kind of hard to make out if there's any story there, but it's an interesting video, and you can tell it's sort of like almost DIY in a way, because it's just, it's not on the same production level as like the Helena or other music videos that followed, so it was kind of cool to come across that, and I guess just kind of see the roots of maybe their first music video. I don't know if there was any others before that, but
right, there's some like almost some ambiguity in the imagery of it, just kind of like there's some ambiguity. I mean, some of the lyrics are direct, but like, it's like, is it sarcasm or is it like honesty? I don't know. Like, tough to say sometimes. I feel like sometimes they can be a little cryptic like that. But yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know, if you're listening closely, you can hear an acoustic sort of what would you call it? Like an acoustic themed version of Vampires that kind of took me all day to figure out how to play on acoustic guitar, because it's not really an acoustic guitar song.
It takes a second to learn. I can't play it, so.
As I was trying to record the guitar part, I tried playing it to the metronome, and I couldn't figure out why I couldn't do it. And then I tried playing it to the song, and then I guess I kind of realized, and maybe other people know this already, the drummer on the first album, because they've had different drummers throughout their career, the drummer on the first album didn't like to play to a metronome, so if you listen closely throughout the album, it's not super noticeable where it's like, wow, these guys are off time, but there's some slight tempo changes, you know, within different songs, and I would have to actually sit and listen to be able to tell you which songs, but you know, drummers out there or other people who are able to pick up on stuff like that might be able to recognize it pretty fast. But that was just an interesting thing I kind of came across, and then as I was recording, I guess the backing track, I was kind of like, well, maybe I should just not play to the metronome, and I didn't, and it seemed like it worked okay, but you should always probably just play to a metronome if you can, because you gotta keep time.
Fair. Yeah, so very cool song. I love, again, we're just talking about even the instrumental aspects, but especially the lyrical aspects are just really resonate for me, because I think we all kind of feel like it depends on what kind of lifestyle you live, but I've certainly felt a little bit like a monster sometimes, if you consider a vampire a monster. And yeah, if I had to make, like, if a song had a picture for an album with just one song, that's what I thought of. And it's cool. Again, this album here, Harry Houdini, and I'm gonna flip him upright. But it's funny because I remember as a teenager, I would draw on my own posters, and I remember I had drawn a poster of Harry Houdini, and without even recognizing at first that it was, on this album. So it's kind of funny how you gravitate towards similar things and don't even realize it. I don't know if they have some story behind that, but maybe you know more than me.
I actually don't know if there's any story behind that, and it's kind of funny because when I first started listening to this album, I was just listening to it on my phone, and phone screens don't show artwork that well sometimes, so I didn't even recognize it as Houdini until I think we got the vinyl version, and I was like, now I recognize what's on the cover. But you can just always support the band and buy physical things,
Right.
because streaming services don't pay that well.
Right? Magician, escape artist, and literally one of the best escapists of all time. So yeah, I guess I don't know if you want to talk about any of these before we. Sorry. Oh, other songs on the album. It's not super long. I won't consider it super long, but sorry, what I'm trying to say. Popular songs off this album that people are also probably familiar with, like Demolition Lovers, really familiar one. Honey in the Spirit Isn't Big Enough for the Two of Us. Yeah, there's obviously, I don't have to sit and name them all. Those are probably I'd say, like, the ones people are most familiar with. But
I think so. Cubicles is a great song too. I think I've read maybe in like a review or on Reddit or somewhere like that people don't like it all that much, but I think it's a cool song. Obviously there's Skylines and Turnstiles, which I'm pretty sure Gerard wrote after.
that's right.
Because again, he was working at Cartoon Network, and then as the story goes, he was on the ferry, I believe, going to New York on the day the towers fell, 9/11, and that's kind of what spurred, I guess, the inspiration for the whole band, but more specifically that song, because he witnessed it. So
Just again, I feel like this band, I don't know their whole life story, but I feel like they, again, kind of speak with a lot of, like, eloquence and empathy and honesty about a lot of topics that, even myself, if I were to be, songwriting, or even just being creative, if you're an artist or whatever you do, it can be really hard to, tackle and, I don't know, pay homage, or I feel like I don't have the right words for it, but those kinds of topics, and really be authentic with it. That can be tough to do, and I feel like that's why My Chemical Romance is such I would consider them like a highly respected band. For some, they just thought it was, part of their edgy emo phase, but I think they are truly a timeless band. Everyone knows the Black Parade, which is pretty much like a homage to, it's life and death, essentially, if you think about it. The band is more about, like, enjoying, being grateful for life and caring for the people you love, and, just the ephemeral nature of life itself, and all the experiences, separate or together, that we have as a collective. We're kind of less separate than we think, and that sounds so like I'm being super, what's the word, dramatic or something, but I don't know. That's why they're an amazing band, and they're just timeless to me, and you know, they've put some really amazing work out into the world. I know that they've touched so many people's lives, and I feel blessed that, you know, like I said, I'll bring it up again, but I think I was like 12, you know, the first time I had heard them, maybe 11 or something, but it was just like right when I essentially needed them. That's when, like I said, just getting handed that CD, and it really changes the course of your life, because music is super important to me, and I'm here doing this today, so.
Indeed. So if you're watching Gerard, give us MCR5. We're waiting desperately.
Or do whatever you want, because you've done enough for us.
The whole world
You should
is
take
waiting.
care of yourself.
That too.
Everyone, I'm just
I'm just joking
That's
too.
right. No, just kidding. Okay.
All right. Did you have anything you wanted to say about the painting
Oh, yeah.
process, or?
Yeah. Also, well, I don't know how you're gonna put this in. The painting, I had a really clear image of what I wanted with this painting, and I feel like it goes without saying with most paintings that I make, and I feel like a lot of artists probably feel this way, creatives in general. Like, I feel like I got like somewhat close to what I was thinking, but a little bit more time and a little bit more skill would have helped. But I got like a general idea of what I wanted, and I think it would actually be cool to like revisit the concept of this painting, because I would like even more depth to it and stuff like that. But you know, it's fun because I was trying to take like the castle, which was like highly stylized and kind of like cartoony, and then also take like a more or less like realistic depiction of the band. And so when I was trying to combine the two, I was like, oh, like kind of like, you know, I guess they're not opposites, but you know, two different styles, and blend them together and kind of make my own image with it. And yeah, it pushed me in some ways, you know, that, you know, I wasn't used to, but overall it was still fun to paint. And yeah, I think it would be a cool like book cover if it was a story or something. I don't know, but it's just, I like painting, I like MCR, and that's all I have to say about it.
Anyway, that's our video for today. If you enjoyed it, like and subscribe. We also have the Etsy shop and the link in the description. If you want to go check that out, you can buy some of the paintings Sarah has made. Maybe even this one, if you like it. We'll have prints and other things for your shopping pleasure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Until next time.
Next time, stay safe and don't be scared of vampires. They won't hurt you.